So I've been trying to get myself into making more and more music on my iPad as I discover all the apps that are available now that makes life a lot easier in creating on the go. And I'm trying to see if my iPad can actually take over creative duties in terms of doing stuff like coming up with musical ideas without having to be restricted to sitting down by my desk or having my laptop all the time with me. So for those of you who have seen my previous videos, you know that I've worked in Logic Pro X a lot. I've worked in Ableton Live, and those are my main DAWs on the desktop. I've been sort of like taking a break from all of that for a little while now, and I've been doing a lot of research. Besides, I've been busy with other stuff anyway, but I have really been investing time into seeing how I can use iOS apps to just take over duties. Like I said, this particular video is going to be me showing you what I've actually come out with from my experimentation in GarageBand to recreate a particular track. So that track, Blackbeatles by Rae Sremmurd, Sremmurd, right? I don't know. I think everyone has problems with that second name. So what I'm going to do is jump onto the iPad here, and this is my iPad 10.5, the iPad Pro. This has basically helped me to figure out the limitations that I have in iOS and what the possibilities are. There's so many apps that you can actually utilize to just get what you want. And with all of them combined, it's really great with what you can actually come out with. What I'm going to do now is just run through this real quick. So the first thing I've got is, well, to begin with, I've got around 8 tracks. And as you can see here, I've got Alchemy. Alchemy is one of my favorite synths in Logic Pro X, and it's great that they have it also in GarageBand. The only issue that I have, though, is that I would love to be able to use this outside of GarageBand, but Apple doesn't let you do that at this point in time. You can't even route it out through a third-party app like AudioBus 3 or something like that. So Apple, hopefully you can update this and add some outputs into this. So I've got about 3 instances of Alchemy, and they're all combining to play that main melody part. And if I go into the mixer here, just real quick, just to show you what I've got going on in that first one, it's pretty much the top 2 that are playing this main part here. Let me just mute the rest of it. It's so annoying that I have to click on every single one of these to mute them. I wish there was a quick way just to press solo on one track and it mutes the rest, but maybe it's just me. But anyway, so this part here, so I've got the EQ. This particular EQ is just basically cutting out a lot. So as you can see, I've got a really, I've chopped off pretty much all the highs. A low cut is on there as well. That's around 140 hertz. By the way, this is a third-party equalizer that I've got there as a plugin. Can't remember the name of it. Let me just jump out and show you which one that is. It's the Parametric EQ. So I'll put the link inside the description if you want to grab that and if you want to check it out. I've literally just got those, and then I've got the built-in EQ. And this is what it looks like with my EQ. You only have 3 bands, unfortunately, with with the built-in EQ of GarageBand. So it can be limiting. So having an EQ like this one here gives you more control because it has more points that you can actually adjust. So pretty much I've essentially filtered out that sound, and all I'm playing is it sounds like an arpeggiated sound, but it's not actually. It is if I bring up the MIDI here, I literally just played this in to get that tone, or that pattern, I should say. Yeah, these two tracks are playing the exact same thing. They're just slightly different sounds within Alchemy. So I combined those to get that little riff there. And then this is another Alchemy instrument. So I'll probably need to go back into the mixer. Okay, my audio unit just crashed, and I'm sure this is the equalizer that I showed you earlier. So I'll just reload that. So these sounds obviously are not exact, but they're close enough. And it's really great that you have such quality instruments at our fingertips inside GarageBand, because you don't have to go out there and try and find, you know, some other third-party sound. So that's great. In terms of the parts with the drums, I've just got instances of the beat machine, the built-in beat machine. I don't think there's any way that you can actually add your own samples to these pads. So you've got to just stick with whatever Apple provides to you. So that's another thing that I think is a slight restriction. But just for getting ideas down, you can always export the tracks out as audio and then bring that into something like Beatmaker 3 or Cubasis 2 or Aurea, and use their instruments or their tools to actually replace the drums or to layer things and change things up. But for the initial ideas, I think it's perfectly fine here to work within GarageBand with certain things. So as you can see, I've got, as I said, a few instances of the drums. I think one's just playing the kick or something. Let's see what this is now. These are the hi-hats. Let's start it here. That's the hi-hats there. And literally, these are just the other parts layered in as before. Now this 808 bass that you've heard. Yeah, so that 808 bass there is, so that's Alchemy, and that's just their built-in 808 sound. I may have tweaked it. No, I don't think I did. If anything, I've probably just EQ'd it. So let's have a look here. Yep. So I haven't actually adjusted anything. So that was fine by itself. One thing that I've added in was some percussion here. And if I try and, it's such a pain having to mute these. If I try and just disable some of the other stuff, then you can hear what this sounds like. So what's going on with this here is I've got some filtration going on here as well. So I've not used that one particularly, but I'm pretty sure I adjusted. I'm on the wrong track, that's why. So yeah, so this is what my EQ looks like for this one. This is what it sounds like without. It needs time to process, I think. Don't know why the sound stopped there. Yep, optimizing performance. Bear in mind that the iPad has a mobile processor, so it doesn't have a lot of RAM as well. That's the main thing, I think. It doesn't have a lot of RAM, so unlike your desktop, if you're doing other stuff with it, multitasking wise, like I'm screen recording now, it will take some time to actually process things. So you just got to be a little bit more patient with it and think strategically in terms of trying to freeze tracks and stuff like that to save on CPU. So I think that's just about it that I want to show you inside this video. Hopefully this has given you some insight into what's possible within GarageBand. This is me trying to figure it out myself and trying to figure out all the other apps and utilize them to make some great music and have fun with it, because ultimately that's why I do it in the first place, to have fun. And hopefully that inspires you and allows you to start creating if you've got an iDevice such as an iPad or even an iPhone or an iPod Touch. That's it. So yeah, that's all for this video. Hopefully I'll have some more of these videos to come, looking into other apps and doing some testing out of those and showing you what I've discovered and what issues I've run into. Definitely share this video with somebody that you think might find it useful. And until next time, take care. Catch you in the next one. This is so annoying. Am I playing? Yep. You can please